So now I'm going to call upon our next speaker. And this is someone I've been really looking forward to meeting and getting to hear. One of the things we do at Awesomeness Fest is we like to bring up inspiring individuals, men and women who lead truly epic lives, who get to do really amazing stuff and get to serve as beacons to give us ideas of how we can let our own light shine. And our next speaker is the distinguished actress, Patricia Arquette. Now, you may remember her from such movies such as True Romance, which is one of my favorite films, Lost Highway. She won an Emmy Award for her role as Alison Dubois for 7 seasons on the critically acclaimed series Medium. She comes from a family of entertainers and activists. In fact, her mom actually marched on Washington with Martin Luther King while carrying Patricia in her womb, which is really cool. And she's now an active philanthropist. She's involved in supporting cures for breast cancer, relief for Hurricane Katrina. And after visiting Haiti, right, and she saw firsthand the destruction and devastation that had been caused in Haiti by the earthquake, she started up her charity, GiveLove.org. That's GiveLove.org. And it's doing so much to rebuild the economy and infrastructure in Haiti. Now, they do a number of different projects in Haiti, but what Patricia's going to be talking about today is specifically the work they're doing in sanitation. And so, give a big, massive round of applause to Patricia Arquette.
Thanks, you guys. I have a little disclaimer. I've never done like a formal speaking engagement before, so thank you. I'm glad to lose my virginity with all of you here. It feels like a very warm, cozy, huggy way to lose it. So it's like, thank you for easing me into that. I want to thank Vision and Mindvalley for inviting us here, and for all of you guys, because a portion of the proceeds from this is going to GiveLove.org. So I want to catch you up quickly on some of the work we've been doing and what some of your funds are going to go to help support and what we're doing here together. And I've never used these clickers, so. Oh, and I want to thank also Tiffany Pearsons of Shine On Sierra Leone, who told me about Awesomeness Festival, and she said, it's amazing. You'll see, it's amazing. And I'm really grateful for the experience and all these great people. So we started Give Love right after the earthquake. I had a friend who was a first responder. She was a Sikh. She'd been in India. She came back and she said, you know, she was so shooken up. And she was a nurse. And she said, what are you doing about Haiti? And I said, well, I gave all this money to these big charities. She said, no, what are you doing about Haiti? And I said, I don't know what to do. I mean, it's funny because I hadn't been able to sleep at night. I'd been resonating on these kids, and I was worried about them, and I had all these crazy ideas about, well, the seismologist who predicted that earthquake predicted another one on the same fault line, closer to Port-au-Prince, because it had a very irregular pattern. So I started looking into, well, what is built to US standards for earthquakes? Well, these shipping containers, and at that point, shipping was down, so there were shipping containers rusting all over the world. So I thought, maybe I could get some shipping containers, retrofit them, and then people would say, oh, it's too hot. So you have this idea, and then you have poison come in. And the poison is, no, you can't do it. And you think, is that poison or is that wisdom? So I sort of went, okay, God, I have this instinct, but I don't know if I'm being guided the right way, but I do believe in you. So, you know, guide me. So I started doing research with different architects who'd built shipping container homes in hurricane areas like Texas. And I found this guy in Houston, and I said, well, would it be too hot to do this? And he said, no, you just build a secondary roof to throw hard shade. You paint it with this paint that they developed for NASA with little ceramic beads that you mix into the paint. It's the way that the space shuttle comes in and out of the atmosphere, it deflects the heat. So we started these prototypes. Now, at the same time, we had a team go down to Haiti. We were told we were given this land. It was very exciting. I went down with my best friend who has 4 kids. It was in this area called Cité Soleil, which the UN had dubbed the most dangerous place on Earth. So we go there to look at the land. Turns out it's smack dab in the middle of a tent camp. Turns out the people have no tents. And so we're sleeping in the most dangerous place on Earth with no security, in our tents. We have 4 kids, you know, not with us, but we're moms. And at home, you're watching the news and you're thinking people are getting their rice and they're getting their tents, and it's just not happening. So we ended up having to go to the mayor's office, get food tickets. I'm knocking on the UN's door, getting 2 soldiers. Call Champagne, get all these tents, start distributing them. And it was pretty mind-boggling. And during that period, we also found out the land was in conflict. And I wasn't there to make a moral decision. You know, our funders hadn't given us money to dictate policy in a foreign country. We weren't there to decide what the laws were. And 15 different people had righteous grievances about this same land. So I just had to, again, go, is this door closing or opening? Now I have all these shipping containers. I have raised money for these shipping containers. Where do they go? God, guide me. Where is the next place? So eventually we found the right partners. And that's part of what's difficult working in the world, in America, wherever, is finding the right partners, the right partnerships, and the people who are active in making the money go to important projects. So we did many things. We did feeding programs in tent camps, which we still have one at this particular school, which is an amazing program, Amer Haiti. The kids do meditation, they do yoga, they do art in a tent camp school. We have gardens that we worked with together. But one of the main things that we did early on was we tested a sanitation system. So because I'm an actress, a lot of people said, oh, they wanted to advertise their thing. So they said, you can have this free water system. You know, just say that you got it from us. But really, in reality, it was a $50,000 water system. And it was run on a generator, and the generator didn't need a gas, and then you needed to change the filters. And it wasn't realistic in the world. The only thing that was important to me was developing models that were actually replicable in the world, for the world's poorest people. So we found this sanitation system, which is called thermophilic composting. So thermophilic composting is natural. So much of today, like we're buying organic, we're spending a lot of money on organic food, which is really going back to the past. We're not doing something new, we're just removing all the chemicals now and going back to the way it used to be. So 2.4 billion people in the world don't have sanitation. Kills more kids than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. And so these kids also have cofactors to their malnutrition, which is parasites. And the parasites are very difficult to treat. Much of these poorer municipalities don't have sanitation treatment facilities. So there's these kind of containment systems, like pit latrines, which then leach into the water table. So sanitation is the #1 pollutant to water sources. So as much as we talk about, we need clean water, everyone get clean water. Well, let's deal with the #1 pollutant to water while we're dealing with water, and maybe we're going to have an option to actually have clean water for people. So we started more and more working on our work towards that. We'd built our orphanage dormitories, we built our classrooms, we found the right partners for all of that. The land ownership in Haiti, as we found early on, was very difficult. So we continued working on this, and we actually are working on a feasibility study right now with Habitat for Humanity in a large housing development. And what we want to figure out is how do you really replicate these systems through the training processes, through the human systems, through the business models. The way that thermophilic composting works is you take the nitrogen, which is in human excreta, and you take carbon, like we use sugarcane bagasse after you make rum. There's all these kind of choppy, kind of like wood chips. So the carbon, the nitrogen, and then oxygen. You get oxygen in there in the right levels, and a biological process happens. It heats up the waste naturally, and it kills all the pathogens. So we use the EPA standards and the CDC standards, and they've come by, and you monitor it, and you check the temperatures, and it actually kills the waste, and you can have a local sanitation treatment processing on site in your community for very low cost. Now, in the next 20 years, more than half the world are going to be living in mega slums. So this is something that we really need to address. It's one of the Millennium Goals, and so I'm really grateful that you guys are partnering with us on this. I have these weird things happen through my life. I've always kind of been open to the metaphysical. It's the way that I was raised. And it's funny that Mindvalley is based in Kuala Lumpur because many years ago, I had an experience in Langkawi, which was, I was in the rainforest with this botanist, and he said, you see that plant there? If you break it, this white sap comes out. And if it goes in your eye, or if someone was to put it in your eye, within 10 minutes you would be blind for the rest of your life. What do you think the antidote is? There's only one antidote. I said, I have no idea. Water, saliva, blood, what could it possibly be? He said, no, it's growing right under it. And this is the way I find many things are today. So I named this Turning Poison into Medicine for 3 reasons, this talk. Yes, we can get very sick from human excreta and if we don't treat it. But also our planet is in turmoil in another hand. In Haiti, it's deforested. We have compromised water table. They've lost a lot of their topsoil. The next level of soil is very hard. When the rain comes, there's no root system to replenish the water table. And the soil structure is compromised. So with compost, you actually can create new soil structure to maintain water and to bring it back into the water table. You also can take those nutrients that are in what we can call waste. The nutrients are still there. Once you kill all the pathogen, you have the nutrients that you can. We've grown malanga trees, which are superfood for pregnant women. It gives them everything they need to have a healthy pregnancy. Mango trees, multiple crops. Haiti has a very low agricultural output. And so the idea of turning poison into medicine, which actually is an old Buddhist expression. And oddly enough, one of the times I went to Haiti, I was pulling Native American cards. And I kept getting the snake. And when I read about snake medicine, it was people that don't have snake medicine, you get bit and you get sick. You get poison from the snake. But if you concentrate on the snake medicine during moments that are difficult in your life where you feel you're absorbing poison, people with snake medicine absorb poison and makes them stronger. So I've kind of used that in moments that were difficult in my life to transmutate poison into healing. And then I'd heard this Buddhist expression. So with the botanist in Langkawi, with these Native Americans and the strength of that. And as I was pulling these cards, I came back to our house in Haiti and there was a dead snake on our doorstep. And I was like, oh yeah, the snake really wants me to pay attention to this. Okay, yes, I get the snake medicine. So this is our idea, is taking a problem in Haiti, which is no sanitation, and a problem in Haiti, which is compromised soil structure, and a problem in Haiti, which is outside the markets, you see rotting food, and you see rats and different disease vectors. Well, if you take all of that and you compost that, you have a rich matrix for your compost, and you end up with better soil structure. So 2.6 billion people have no access to sanitation. It's the #1 pollutant to water sources, like I said. And so we have this community-led sanitation project that we work on. So we say, okay, you guys, come on, sit around. We talk with the community. We say, we don't have all the answers. We have some ideas for business models that might be affordable in your community. We have some, we'll talk to you about different systems and the pros and cons of each one. You guys make your own decision. But one of the things we'll do is say, we're talking about hygiene training or water hand washing. We'll say, put a little glitter on people's hands. Now wash your hands. You know, germs are so small. And people would wash their hands and go, well, there's still glitter on my hand. Yeah, and there may still be germs on your hands. So this is how we need to hand wash with the kids. We have green school programs where we have gardens and we have sanitation, and the kids are learning hygiene with different groups that we work with. And then we'll say, here, write out a map of like, where's your house, where's your house, where's your house? Okay, so where do you shit? Well, I shit over here in a plastic bag. Most of the world shits in flying toilets, they call them. And then, where does your kid shit? Here. And then they start going, wait, you're shitting right by my house. Hey, your kid's shitting right over there. And then they start going, I walk there. And they start going, we don't want to live like this anymore. What's going on? No wonder our kids have diarrhea all the time. No wonder, you know, our kids are sick and they have worms and parasites. And so they, as a community, like, it's up to you. We'll work with you, but we can't do this for you. So let's work together to figure this out. So we have big meetings with community, and we talk about options, and we talk about what we know and how we could work with them together to change this paradigm. And so this is Joe Jenkins, who is kind of the godfather. He's been working since the 60s in thermophilic composting, and he has this thing called the lovable loo. which is, it's a 5-gallon bucket and a simple toilet, and it's very affordable. Very simple tools are needed, and usually they're locally available. We have building teams that come, and we work with community. Oh, sorry, I'm trigger happy. Okay, here. So the community works together, the kids, the women, the children, to learn how to build these things, because sometimes there's an aid mentality in communities where they're used to this thing. Like, we taught this community to build toilets, and then they called us, we want more toilets. And I said, okay, well, what do you guys mean? Do you need more buckets, or we have these 3-foot thermometers? That's really the only thing, maybe a toilet lid. Is that what you guys need more of? No, we need you to come build more. You guys know how to build it. We're here just to give you the information. You guys, they called us back, we built our own toilets. We said, yes, that's what we're talking about. You don't need us to come and do that. You guys have the knowledge now. You can take it into your community. You can make it work in your community. So this is, us doing that. And so some of the components of it, and it's very simple. And depending on where they live, like this is a 15-gallon. So, and what they have locally available. This is more in the mountains. This is a very arid region. And when we came back, so we let our compost sit for a year, even though that's much longer than the EPA says. But we always err on the side of caution, double, triple caution. When you came back in this arid desert region, the whole compost pile was like a lush jungle. Everything was just growing, and they were just like, look. And all the farmers are like, I can't wait to get a hold of that compost. These are some kids. And the kids are in front of a toilet structure that we built with our partners, Amer Haiti. They have this school in the tent camp. They're showing how it works. They're so cute. And it's in the middle of a tent camp of 7,000 people. We also have a feeding program at this school. And it's kind of like a kitty litter system. You go to the bathroom, you cover it with sawdust, and then they wash their hands, and then it gets composted. And as the composters get more and more experience, it gets faster and faster. So what we're still working on is breaking down business models. How do you make it the most affordable you can? And now we want to work on growing on-site carbon. We don't want to have to truck in from the sugar cane bagasse place compost. Carbon. We want to grow it right there and minimize processing so people can have these out-of-the-box systems for their communities. And we do hygiene training and awareness to talk about, we do a water catchment system with this particular school that feeds to their sink, and we used bamboo as partitions for some of them. So there's many, many kids who have access to these toilets and who are learning about all of this. This is a tent camp school hygiene washing station model. And some of the kids that have had access to our toilets. So here in Leogon, they've just built out these pens that are going to be used for the composting, and some of the toilet structures that are here. Some kids walk by, some teenagers like, what are you doing? And because they're farming kids, when we explained, doing this toilet system, sanitation, to treat the sanitation, and you end up with compost, then they like, give us a shovel, we want to help, we want to learn how to do this. So they're all working together to do that. There's the teenagers. To point out to you, when the UN came in with all good intentions, they dumped untreated pit latrine sewage into the river, and they had cholera. And because of that, cholera didn't exist really in Haiti before, and now it's sickened more than 500,000 people and killed more than 8,000 people, and it's not going anywhere. These are some of our best composters, our master composters. You don't need to be literate, you got to be smart, and most of the world is smart. And so we could teach people this skill set that is really a part of they're actually bringing public health to their community. So they're using pallets, which are available all over, and they're building the pens in this video. But so to show you one untreated toilet can sicken that many people is part of the importance of this project, and all over the world the importance of this. And all over the world we're really trying to figure out how to make this as affordable as possible so it can be replicated. So this is really the process. It's very simple. They're just taking out the sewage, they're going to dump it in there and then cover it and wash out the bucket, and they start again. It's very minor. Now, pathogens die at like 120 degrees, and usually we get 140 degrees. So that's killing all the pathogens in like 5 minutes. I mean, it's weird to be an actress and know this much about pathogen death rates. I'll tell you that. Who would have thunk it? But when you look at kids and you see them, and we've had crazy experiences like having to pull parasites out of kids' asses that are this long, you just go, nobody's doing this. We have to do this. These are our brothers and sisters. This is us. And in the reality, you know, so much of the world's becoming desert. There may be a day where we're buying compost from poor countries because we may need compost ourselves. And you look in New York right now, all of this sewage is getting backed up because there's no systems. We need to have emergency systems into place that can be implemented in emergencies. So we buy tools and we teach the communities these different things. And technical training. I'd never done this before, so I probably added more slides that are similar than necessary, but anyway, you get the idea. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, sorry.
Hey, my name's Dan. I totally share your interest in replicating ideas that work and thinking about how to make the most social impact is, so yeah, what are you all doing to try to replicate this beyond Haiti? Have you started that, and how has it been working so far?
Well, we're still trying to figure out some of the business models, and at some point, like, we want to work with more agronomists to come up with different ideas of what we could grow carbon on site, how the easiest way to process, the least expensive way to process that material be, what heat levels we got from that particular thing, and then business models. How do we keep it coming in and in so that these compost managers actually make a living, a decent living for their family, but it's costing the community that's sharing the cost as low as possible. We are talking about working in Zambia. We've been asked to work in Zambia, but right now we're really focusing on this one. We're about to go live with 150 households, so it's a large household scale model to learn lessons from that. You know, what doesn't work, what does work. And crazy things sometimes don't work in the world. Our program at this one green school is working so well that people living in the tent camp wanted those guys to get fired so they could get the jobs. So they were literally jumping over the fence at night and shitting around. I mean, it was shit warfare. It was crazy. Like, are you crazy? How low functioning a dynamic can this be? You want him fired, so you're going to shit all over to make it look like he's doing a bad job. This is craziness. So, I mean, sometimes working in the world, you end up with this kind of crazy thing that you have to negotiate you never thought. So 38% of the planet is deemed at risk of desertification. So it's not just Haiti. I mean, this is becoming more and more an issue all over the world. You know, we're losing 2 football fields every second of forest and 149 acres every minute. And every day, larger than New York City. So our planet is changing really drastically. So if we can find answers that address multiple problems, it would behoove us in the end. They don't ever count. If you change sanitation, you're going to have a huge impact on healthcare. But how do you quantify the amount of money you're saving in healthcare because now you have sanitation? They quantify how much money it is for clean water and separately sanitation and separately health, but they're not looking at them like our body, that these systems are all integrated to one another, and how we can actually save more money by addressing more things that in an organic manner, the way that humans are. So we end up with this soil. You see Haiti. You could see where Haiti is deforested. And you see on the other side of the line the DR, which has much stronger foresting rules, the difference of the land there. So we had systems where the kids are learning how to grow things, where they're growing things in school and tent camps, and it's really important to come up with a way to make more food more affordable for poor people. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks, guys.